Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Yes, everybody is excited that Iraq has completed all the requirements to join the World Trade Organization. But the bigger question is, what's next for Iraq? We're going to get into that and also look at the time frame it takes for the final stage to take place. There's this impression going on around the Iraqi dinar community that this is going to happen next week or next month. So is that true, or could the process take longer? Let's get into this. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Miles Franklin. The link will be down below in the description. When you make your purchase, make sure you use promo code PIMPY, P-I-M-P-Y, and they'll take care of you. If you have any additional questions, you can reach us over here at this phone number or over here at this particular email. For all orders over $10,000, reach out by email and we'll make sure that you get a great deal. So come on over to Miles Franklin and add to your precious metal inventory. Okay, so where exactly are we in the process? Alright, so Iraq has fulfilled all the necessary conditions and obligations set by the World Trade Organization for membership. Means that the country has successfully completed all the required steps and met the necessary criteria to become a member of the WTO. It says the process for Iraq to join the WTO began in 2003 following the US-led invasion that toppled Saddam Hussein's regime. Iraq's application for the WTO membership was officially submitted in 2006. The process involved several stages. So the first stage, pre-accession technical assistance. So Iraq received technical assistance from the WTO and other international organizations to help it prepare for membership. This included assistance in areas such as trade policy formulation, customs administration, and trade-related legal reforms. We already know that was done. Negotiations on market access. Iraq had to negotiate market access commitments with other WTO members. These negotiations covered various sectors, including agriculture, manufacturing, and services. The aim was to ensure that Iraq would open its markets to imports from other WTO members and that other members would do the same for Iraq's exports. That has already been done. Legislative and institutional reforms. Iraq had to implement a series of legislative and institutional reforms to ensure that the trade regime was consistent with the WTO rules. This included the adoption of new trade laws, the establishment of national trade policies, and the strengthening of its customs administration. We know they did that, so that is complete. So what is left? So Iraq has recently completed this process and is now set to become the WTO's 164th member. So what happens next? Now that Iraq has fulfilled all necessary conditions and obligations for the World Trade membership. So here is what's remaining for Iraq. Approval by the General Council. The first step now that Iraq has fulfilled all necessary conditions and obligations for the WTO membership is for the organization's General Council to approve its membership. The General Council, which is composed of all WTO members, will consider Iraq's application during a formal meeting and vote on whether to approve its membership. This process is typically a formality as long as the applicant country has fulfilled all necessary conditions and obligations. So what's left is have to be approved by the General Council. So if you look over here at the WTO's calendar, it says over here that the World Trade Organization will hold its 13th Ministerial Conference in Abu Dhabi. And that was done February the 26th through the 29th. WTO members are set to endorse formally the WTO's accession of Comoros and Timor-Leste, increasing the organization's membership to 166. Timor-Leste, that's how you actually pronounce it. So the weird thing is that Iraq is member 164. Voting on these two would give the memberships up to 166. The crazy thing is the WTO General Council has not yet voted on whether to accept Iraq. There's no signs of that anywhere. So they are going to, in June of 2024, vote on the other two countries to allow them to come in. That's their next step. This is where Iraq should be at this moment. But it doesn't seem that they're on their calendar at the moment. That doesn't mean they won't be added on before the June meeting. I'm just saying as of now, they don't appear to be on the calendar to be voted in. So they are going to have to first go through the approval by General Council. As far as timeline is concerned, it's usually when the WTO members all get together. And they do that usually in June of every year. But before they can get to the next stage, they have to be approved by the General Council. I don't know the reason why they're not added on there, but I do find it interesting that Iraq is considered the 164th member, and it's saying that after those two other countries are voted in, that means the membership is up to 166 countries. It gives the appearance that Iraq has already been voted in, but the truth of the matter is I don't see it anywhere on their calendar, nor do you see that the General Council has voted Iraq in at all. So even though the WTO meets monthly, it's only in June when all members are present, is my understanding. So if they're not on by this June, then you probably got to wait till the following June. So we're going to see what happens. We got between now and June to see if indeed Iraq gets added to the calendar. So we got from at least here to June. So that's what? Another 3 months? That's if they're added to the calendar. If not, then you got another 15 months. Unless for some reason the WTO holds a special session in which all members must be present. Once they've approved them, then you have the ratification by the Iraqi government. Once Iraq's membership has been approved by the WTO General Council, the next step is for the Iraqi government to ratify its membership. This involves passing legislation through the Iraqi parliament to formally accept the terms and conditions of the WTO membership. Once this ratification process is complete, Iraq will officially become a member of the WTO. Now, here's where the fun begins. What we got to hope for is that there's not certain factions within the Iraqi government using this as some kind of pawn to get things that they want. Don't just assume that the entire parliament is going to agree to this. There could be some shenanigans that go on and cause delays. But again, we'll see. We'll wait and we'll see what happens. So once the ratification process is complete, Iraq will officially become a member of the WTO. So overall, while there is no fixed timeline for how long the final accession stage of the WTO takes, it is common for this process to span several years before a new member officially joins the organization. So don't sit around and go, no, man, it's not going to take Iraq years. The whole point is we don't know. Because it's telling you right here, it is common for this process to span several years. So if your own government has disagreements why they don't want to join, you have to deal with that. If for whatever reason the General Council doesn't vote you through, then they can get approved by 2/3 vote. So you got to turn around and rally for that. They are towards the end of the process. We just got to cross our fingers and hope it goes smoothly. As I stated, they're not on the calendar, not yet, for this June meeting coming up. That doesn't mean they can't be added. Unless for some strange reason they move it up. I can't see that happening, but it's very possible. I don't want to say can't, because definitely there's a lot of good things been happening for Iraq. So cross your fingers, maybe they'll expedite it and they'll put them on an earlier calendar than June. But if not, at the very earliest, we're looking at June for them to be approved by the General Council. So we got another 3 months at the very least. Anyways, a lot of people have been asking questions about this. I just want to go ahead and answer those questions. This is what I've been able to dig up so far. I will keep an eye on it. If anything changes, I'll let you know. So what are we looking for? This next stage is for the approval by the General Council. That's what we're looking for Iraq. So keep an eye on that in the news. Or for Iraq to even be added to the General Council's calendar would be an indication that that's getting ready to happen as well. All right, you guys, I hope that answers your questions. We're almost there. This would be a huge, big step for Iraq. They've already been granted permission to start negotiating trade with other countries. You can at least negotiate it. So that's a big step. Anyways, that's it for now. I hope that answers your questions. I'll get back at you later. I'm out.